Is it done?
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
Yo friends, what's going on? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. Has the curse been lifted? Is the fever dream finally over? Are we going to rid ourselves of the failed and peculiar story of Romelu Lukaku to Chelsea? Maybe. Hopefully we're on the brink. We're going to talk about that. Apparently there's two offers on the table from Saudi and Juventus, of course. Both offers that Chelsea would accept, but potentially a bit tricky with Juventus, which of course at this point is Romelu Lukaku's priority. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Ziyech, it looks off to get Galatasaray, so that's the two heavy hitters, big names of the POM squad out the door potentially. Obviously now a priority for Chelsea to sort that out. We are trying to sign a second goalkeeper, a second choice goalkeeper. We'll talk about that. An opening bid for the MLS goalkeeper, Petrovic. Yes, that's his name, I believe. And yeah, we're going to get into it together. So thank you for joining me. Please do consider liking the video and subscribing. You are, of course, welcome to join the Football Therapy community. A very, if I might say so, intelligent and friendly community. So do consider hopping on board. Road to 200,000 subscribers. Brilliant. So vibes are good at Chelsea at the moment. I'm excited for the game this weekend. I have filmed a preview on the couch, a sensual, informal, long-form piece of content where I talk about this lineup, the potential tactics against David Moyes' West Ham. Excuse me. So if you're interested in my thoughts on that, I would gently waft you in the direction of my previous upload where I talk about Chelsea versus West Ham. I made a preview. So I'd urge you to go watch that. You might enjoy it. Before we reflect on this, like I said, fever dream of a transfer of Romelu Lukaku, let's quickly hop over to The Athletic and find out what's going on with this goalkeeper. Because we've made a bid for Revs goalkeeper Petrovic. Chelsea have opened talks with the New England Revolution and made an opening bid for a deal to acquire Serbia international goalkeeper Djordje Petrovic. Sources involved tell The Athletic, so we've made a bid, we've found a goalkeeper. The Serbian is regarded as the best goalkeeper in the MLS, so that's pretty good. Kepa Arrizabalaga left Chelsea, of course, to go to Real Madrid. Sanchez has taken the number 1 shirt and become number 1. While American goalkeeper Gaga Slonina has been loaned out to KAS Eupen, or KAS Eupen, however you pronounce that. It's a Belgium side. So Chelsea manager Mauricio Pochettino referenced the club's continuing search for another goalkeeper on Friday, saying the club was, quote, thinking and exploring all situations and possibilities on the market. The Athletic reported on June the 30th that the Revolution have rejected bids from Nantes and Forest for Petrovic. Nottingham has since signed US national team goalkeeper in the former Rev star Matt Turner from Arsenal. New England has insisted they didn't want to lose their star goalkeeper before the end of the season, with the summer transfer window in the MLS now closed. But Chelsea's strong finances and Petrovic's desire for the move may force them to reconsider. So he's 23 years old, he's made 48 appearances after signing in 2022, and he's quickly established himself after Turner departed for Arsenal. He's voted the second in MLS goalkeeper of the year last season. Sounds pretty good, despite only playing 21 of the 34 matches after joining mid-season, and he was named 2023 MLS All-Star. All-Star! An All-Star goalkeeper, that sounds good, right? Sounds good to me. Yeah? Petrovic has 2 caps with Serbia national team. Before New England, he broke through the Serbian side FC. I'm not going to pronounce that. With the transfer window closed, MLS clubs can only sign free agent. I apologise for clearing my throat down the microphone, but in the mornings, I get bad hay fever, and it just sucks. Look, let's talk about this, right? Goalkeeper. I believe The Guardian have reported we've bid £15 million for this goalkeeper. What's that, about 18, 19 million euros, something like that. Yeah, it's about right for the second goalkeeper kitty or transfer fee, certainly for a club like Chelsea Football Club. It's interesting because he's of the age that would generally want to play, but you know, if he's happy to come to Chelsea, come to London, take the pay packet, you know, hang around for a few years. Hopefully, if Chelsea get back into Europe, he can play some group stage games of the Champions League, some cup games. You know, he'll back himself to maybe play really well, and suddenly one day, you know, become Chelsea's first team goalkeeper. Even if he comes in with his eyes wide open, knowing that this is a really, really unlikely scenario. The second team goalkeeper is a strange life, isn't it? Usually you get, you know, your Willy Caballeros of this world, the senior older players that are like calm heads to come in. But for a young player like that, they need to understand that, you know, they make a choice. They either go and play somewhere or stay at his current club and play loads of football, or they take the bag and go and sit on the bench and hope that will be good development. Maybe he thinks just 2 or 3 years at Chelsea, being coached by their goalkeeping coaches, earning a lot of money, having just a life experience in Southwest London is worth it by itself. And, you know, goalkeepers go on. He'll think he's got at least another 10 years in his career, so he could just do a few years, go elsewhere, and, you know, in his prime, be a starting goalkeeper, and he'll be thankful for his time at Chelsea. That's what you got to think, right, in terms of their, perhaps, you know, incentives. Anyway, let's talk about Lukaku. We have to do it. So Chelsea have accepted 2 valuations, I think, in principle. Well, they've got a bid on the table from a Saudi club for £40 million, which Chelsea would just take now because it would absolve them. He's probably got left on the books a bit more than that, and there's going to be a loss regardless. But £40 million sterling, with obviously not subsidising wages, just taking his wages off the books. That would be, and Saudi, if we know one thing about the Saudi league, is they can pay high wages. So that would just alleviate us, and that would be a win. In the context of the inevitable loss, regardless, it would be a win. Now, Juve, I saw reports that Juve have also sort of tabled a valuation and a preparation to part with the said valuation of about 40 million as well. But then there's conflicting reports saying they're just still desperate to get it done with Vlahovic, and Vlahovic to come to Chelsea. Now, I do not want this. I keep saying this. He's 23 years old, another Serbian international, Vlahovic. He is a good player. He had an amazing 6 months at Fiorentina before he was sold, and then the 18 months that followed at Juventus, he scored the same amount of goals. Bigger club, 3 times this amount of time to score the same goals. And it's just the exact similar age profile of Breuer and Jackson. I don't feel like it's what we want. He'll want high wages or high-ish wages, and it doesn't seem like the solution for me. And, you know, he will be like a high-value striker because, you know, they'll want money on top of the 40 million subsidised value of Lukaku. And he'll come in, you'll be like, oh, look, you've got an expensive striker. He'll score a couple of goals, you get excited, but then he'll sort of fizzle out. And I know that's me being a pessimistic here or cynical, but I'm in the days of like Erling Haaland just eating everything up. You can't live up to the big money striker signing. I'm not saying, obviously, if they scored half the goals of Haaland, you'd be living up to it. But I just feel like the perception is so skewed that it's better to stay for the moment with the Nico Jacksons of this world, who people are praising in terms of how he's playing. I think goals will come, but because he's so athletic, Nico Jackson, he's so driven, he's got an amazing attitude, and he's already sparked up a good chemistry with the forwards. I think just keep him as your striker. You know, Pochettino was talking about Breuer, saying, you know, yeah, we want to buy a forward, but, you know, think of Breuer as well. I thought it was very interesting that he brought up Armando Breuer when talking about buying another forward. Does he think Armando Breuer can play in the front line? Maybe. We certainly know Nico Jackson can play as a winger because he was a winger that was bought centrally. I'm not suggesting that we farm him back out on the wing because he's done so well there, but, you know, maybe try Breuer out wide. You know, or maybe our front three is, you know, we play an extra midfielder and the front three is the number 10, like an Nkunku, behind 2 strikers like Breuer and Jackson, of course. And in that case, you can occupy or you can field a midfield three of Lavia, Caicedo, and Fernandes, you know, so suddenly you get all the 3 new superstar signings on the pitch. And maybe we do end up seeing Armando Breuer in the front 3 alongside Jackson. Look, man, Lukaku. Let's just put this. Let's just try and put a full stop after this story. I was gassed, man. when we signed him. I was such a fan of him at Inter. I thought he'd evolved. Conte wanted him at Chelsea, and he got Morata instead. So Conte obviously saw something in him, and the two coaches in Martinez and Conte, they got so much out of Lukaku. There's 2 years at Inter, he was like top 2-3 strikers in the world, easy. He obviously won the MVP. He was getting like over 20 league goals and over 10 league assists. So absolutely just an all-rounder, an absolute catalyst. And I was so excited. We signed him in his pomp. So he's like 27, 28. And he was like, yeah, I'm back at Chelsea. I want to, and the video surfaced again of him being a young Anderlecht teenager going, just in awe of Stamford Bridge. I'm going to play it one day. Of course, he didn't get a chance properly when he was here. And it's kind of like he's back and the narrative was there. It was ripe. He scored on the opening game against Arsenal, his first game. And he, just looks like he was ready to go. And it just felt right. Champions League winners Chelsea signed Romelu Lukaku. And it was the narrative across the board. This wasn't just a few Chelsea fans. All like pundits and, just fans without any particular bias were saying, yeah, like Chelsea have done it. Like now they've got him. This is perfect. And he's, scored over 100 Premier League goals. He's Belgium's top scorer. He's one of the best strikers in Europe. He's won the Scudetto. He's won the MVP. He's the right profile to bully opposition, and you have Timo Werners and Kai Havertz to play off him, and it was just, it was the one, and he did, as soon as he got into the team, look wicked. But it's on him. Yes, we misused him to a degree. I will die on that hill. I very much agree with Nini on this. We've discussed it over the years, our opinions. We did misuse him, but it's on him still to blame because his behaviour from being misused, and for a guy who's got a diploma in public relations from his studying before he was full-time in football, it blows your mind that he would even entertain an unsanctioned interview like that with Sky to try and weasel your way back into the hearts of Inter fans. Like, that was such a blockbuster story for all the wrong reasons for Chelsea, and he is an absolute fool for doing it. He made it. I just still can't believe it, man. So it's on him, and it's gone from, I was going to say, what's the opposite from going from strength to strength? From weakness to weakness, his moves have been. His play to get back in Inter, and then finally gets his loan and, plays a bit there. And granted, he comes off the bench in the Champions League, but he was playing a lot in the league again. They want him, they say, all right, we want you back, we're going to buy you. He just doesn't pick up his phone. I'm very mindful to, slag off footballers because they're all individuals, they all have their own emotional stuff going on, and I know Lukaku certainly has some hard times, especially after the World Cup, and I'm not gonna slag him off too much, but oh my giddy aunt, mate, what the ruddy heck are you doing? And then Juventus, the team that was racially abusing him not so long before, Inter's isn't it, it's like, I know Inter and Milan are Milan derby, but apparently for Inter, it's the Derby d'Italia with Juventus. That's the big rivalry. And to go to so only, it just blows your mind. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Anyway, feel like a weight is lifted when he is off the books, and I feel like this new sort of Chelsea reborn under Pochettino, this new dawn, this new feeling of lightness is good, but there still seems to be this one weight hanging down, and that is of course Romelu Lukaku. He's like the elephant in the room. We all know he's there. No one's talking about it, and he's sort of quietly floating around Cobham. He's not being pictured in the media, obviously, and as soon as that's done, it'll be better for everyone. Just sell him to Saudi. If we sell him to Saudi, this will be one of the best transfer windows of all time. Not perfect, and, eggs were broken for this omelette. People are understandably upset about Lewis Hall. People are, that represent their own stand groups for Kovacic, Havertz and Mount will all be individually upset about their favoured player going. All very, very good players, but ultimately sacrifices that need to be made for a holistic rebuild with foundations built for purpose to the ground up. And that's what happens. Chelsea put ourselves in this position where we ran off vibes for too long, and then we got wicked players that everyone loves, but they just didn't work together. And then it comes to a point where you have to be brutal, and you have to it gets worse to get better, and they get worse is selling players you like, but ultimately, touch wood, for the long run, it's the right thing to do. So here we are. Lukaku out will be pretty much the final weight being lifted. So what do you think? Where's he going to go? How do you feel about it? I love reading your comments, so please do leave your comments down below. I'll be very, very keen to read them. Yeah, the Lukaku scenario, the goalkeeper scenario, maybe some whatever you want to talk about Chelsea, just drop it down in the comments. Thank you for liking and subscribing to this channel, Football Therapy. You can follow me on social media at Football Yannick. I'm going to start doing some short form content on my Instagram. I'll do YouTube shorts as well, right here on the channel. And I have a TikTok at football.yannick. For some reason, you have to put a dot in between. Don't know why. Anyway, follow me on there, and I'll see you guys very soon.